You are now tuned into Flippin' the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
What's going on, Eagles fans? Welcome one, welcome all to episode 32 of Flippin' the Birds. I'm Brian Cameron. He's Chris Infante, and today we have three-time Pro Bowler, the Eagles' former first-round selection, the bodyguard before the bodyguard, Trey Thomas. What's going on, brother?
I'm chilling, man. Just enjoying life, man. Enjoying my family. Everybody's safe. We're good. Social distancing is happening, so it is what it is.
Absolutely. Right. Chris, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling nice. I got my I drove over to Fairfield, New Jersey a little while ago. Went to Magnify Brewing. Had to get some essentials. Right now I got it's called the Frosted Flakes beer. Frosted Flakes. It's a double IPA made with vanilla and lactose. And I'm telling you, I had this back in 2018 at the brewery, and I have been looking for it ever since. And because of this quarantine and everything, they re-released it. And I told my wife, I was like, get Cameron, let's go, pack her up. We're heading as soon as they open up at 2:00, right there, right in line. Got it. And then right now I have it in the fridge.
You risked it all.
I did. I had the mask on. I had my mask on and everything. And I said, and I was like, you know what? While I'm there, they had a special release one that they weren't supposed to release for a few months. It's called Don't I Know You, and it's a 15.4% beer. Do I Know You? And it's a bourbon barrel aged stout, and it has chilies, cinnamon, chocolate, coffee, and vanilla. And I'm very looking forward to that later on.
Bad mix, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Because you don't know good beer.
My stomach's a little weak with the chili and vanilla. No, I can't do all that. But anyways, let's get to it. The draft is about 9 days away, but let's focus on what we actually have in-house right now. Andre Dillard, Trey, former left tackle. You've guarded the great Donovan McNabb in your time and everything. Do you feel like the Eagles made the right move in moving on from Jason Peters at this point in time?
Well, when you have a first-round draft pick like Dillard, you got to make that decision. I mean, how much longer are you going to let him sit on the bench? Jason Peters is definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer, man, just someone that as soon as he retires, go ahead and just skip the 5 years and let him in, But I think that, it was kind of time, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can get why you would want to bring him back because of his leadership possibly, but, you did bring Dillard in. He's your first-round pick. You got to let him go. Because if you weren't ready for Dillard to come in and start at some point, then why even make that selection?
Mm-hmm. And make the jump in the draft as well.
Right. Yeah. And I know it's only a couple picks, but you still move up to get them, especially in front of Houston, and then you make them trade their 2 first-round picks and then trade everything else. And Bill O'Brien went off the wall after that move, because who knows what the hell he's doing down in Houston. But it's so is it overblown in your opinion what he was saying after gearing up for Seattle game when he was about to start at right tackle and the reporters asked him, how is it switching over to right tackle, and he said it's writing with the other hand. Like kind of the attitude aspect of it going into it, instead of people were saying, we'd rather see him say, it's going to be difficult, but I'm ready for the challenge and all that stuff. He was kind of like lax in his attitude. Is that overblown, or is it really that difficult to go from left to right so quick, so in such a short amount of time?
Tell me this: what are you? Are you left-handed or right-handed?
I'm a right-handed.
You right-handed? Okay, write your name. Sign your name right now with your left hand.
It'll look like a drunk.
Go ahead and sign your name with your left hand. Go ahead and sign it. Sign your name with your right hand.
Piece of paper.
And sign your name with the hand. Sign your name with your left hand.
Hold on.
And just
right
see
back.
how it
Brian,
looks.
you talk right
there. Yeah. But that's how difficult it is, and especially when you only have a week to do it. I mean, it's one thing if you have an entire offseason to deal with it. But when you say, okay, during this week, hey, man, we only got a couple of days of practice. We need you to switch over. He's only been in the left-handed stance since he's been playing football. He's only been, I think they said he was in a left-handed stance since he started playing football. So however many years that was, and then you say within the middle of the week, hey, man, we want you to switch over and play right tackle, that is extremely difficult.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just to talk about just a little bit of the technical part of it. When you're talking as an offensive lineman, let me put my glass of wine down real quick so we can get into this. When you're talking as an offensive lineman, as a left tackle, as a left tackle, you're in the left-handed stance. So your left foot is back, your left arm is back, your left hand is back, and your right hand is up. So you want to treat it like a boxer, all right? You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you want to jab, and only bring your outside hand if you really need it. You know what I'm saying? Because your outside hand is your safety net. All right. So at left tackle, if you have a rusher that's going upfield, I'm only going to shoot my right hand. I only bring my outside hand if I really need it. Mm-hmm. If it's a bull rush or if it's something, if he's rushing upfield, I'm only punching the near point with my inside hand and kind of keeping that left hand back. You never, as an offensive lineman or as a tackle, do you ever want to shoot your outside hand first? Never. Because if you shoot your outside hand first, if a rusher catches that, if he cleans it, you have nothing else to battle with, all right? Mm-hmm. So now that's just going off the left side. So if you're left side, you shoot hands. You only bring your outside hand if you need it. You switch over there to the right side. Now your right hand is on the outside, and it is now you switch over to the other side. And if you mess around and just out of habit, throw your right hand now, because before your right hand was your jab, that was your inside hand. Now that's your outside hand. If you mess around and throw your right hand just out of habit and the DN catches it, you're done. That's a sack automatically. Then now when you start talking about the footwork, as a tackle, if I'm in a left-handed stance, my right foot is up. I'm going to move back a little bit so you can see it. So my right foot is up, my left foot is back. If I work back inside, this foot still needs to be up. You see what I'm saying? Mm. If for whatever reason you never want to drop this inside foot and then get strong with your inside foot because you give up the inside lane. You see what I'm saying? So now if you mess around and you switch over to the side here and you just out of habit drop that inside foot because you've been used to dropping it on the left side, then now you open up the inside lane, which gives a free lane to the quarterback. So there's a lot that has to happen. And you need a full offseason of work to get comfortable with getting out of the muscle memory. And to do that in the middle of the week was extremely hard, especially when you don't have anybody rushing against you full speed to really give you the look that you need. Mm-hmm. Because that was what 8-9 weeks in the season? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have anybody rushing against you full tilt. So you really, the sense of security that you had going into that game was false because you haven't had anybody challenge you. So that's why I feel like it was an extremly tough ask for him. How's your signature come out?
All right, so
homework.
So everybody, your right hand and left hand.
I found the pen very quickly, but in this house we don't have any paper, so I had to. I just put together a fire pit for my wife the other day. She came and she was like, "I just bought a fire pit." Oh, okay. I guess I have to put it together. So here's the instructions for the fire pit here.
Yeah.
All right. So here's right-handed Chris, and here's left-handed Chris. That ain't pretty. And there's my signature. Yeah. And so, then
it's extremely difficult, right, man. And then you're saying, all right, let's make that switch in the middle of the week. That's a tough ass. That's a tough ass.
As well. On top of that.
Yeah, I mean, but being a rookie, you're going to have to take your lumps anyway. You know what I'm saying? But at least I want you taking your lumps in a place where you feel comfortable. I don't want you taking your lumps and also killing your confidence, putting you on a side that you never even played, You know, because now, like back when I was in college, we used to flip. So we would say, all right, you would play, it was just strong side, weak side, depending on the play. So you would play both left and right tackle. I didn't switch predominantly over to left tackle until I got into the league.
That's interesting.
But that's just going to Florida State. And that's what being at Florida State will get you. You see what I'm saying? Florida State prepared me for this.
Now, it's kind of, I guess, being a left tackle now for Eagles is kind of similar to when you played, because mobile quarterback and a guy who could do things on the run. How difficult was it protecting Donovan when he was out there all over the place?
Well, yeah, it was tough at times, but like Warren would tell us, like, look, I don't care how long he holds the ball. I want you to block your man until you know that ball is gone. I want you to block him until you hear the whistle. So Warren would just be like, look, I don't care if he hits 1, 2, 3 hits. I don't give a shit. I need you to block him until you hear the whistle.
And that's something that we hope we wish we saw a lot more last year. It's I mean, I know Carson had a little bit of an issue holding on the ball a little too long, but it seems like he was getting, at times, it seems like he was getting no time at all. I know the health of the line was a big question mark.
It was
during
very
the
up and
year.
down.
Peters was starting a lot of games, but he wasn't finishing that much. And then you throw Dillard in there, and then Big V's moving all around, and Matt Pryor had to come in, and Lane wasn't healthy, and even Kelsey wasn't healthy the whole time. So
yeah.
So it's. Do you think right now the way the line is construed, is it still one of the top lines in the league, or do they need more depth, or do they need? Because we know Jason's on his way out. He said that he was mulling retirement last year, and then he came back for this year. I think he signed a 2-year deal extension after last season, through 2021. But right now the depth isn't. Big Fee's gone. Obviously, Peters is gone. People think that he might be back at some point, as he hasn't really gotten a sniff. I know there was rumors about him going to Tampa.
Yeah.
But he hasn't. Outside of that, I haven't heard much from his standpoint. Then you lose Big V. You really have no one behind Brandon or Isaac. You have Herbig as a backup center. Maybe you can move Isaac over to center. Do you think Isaac's being at left guard so much that kind of takes him out of the picture of being Kelsey's kind of heir apparent to being a center?
No, that's what he's there for. You have Isaac in there just in case, if Kelsey goes down, he's going to be your backup center. Then you bring somebody else in to play left guard. But, from what I hear, Isaac is a hell of a center. When I look at him play, I can see some of that center tendencies where his stance is extremely wide. It gets a little balanced. At guard, you need to have a little bit more of a stagger in your stance, kind of like a tackle a little bit. But sometimes Isaac gets a little bit more balanced, like as if he was a center, especially when Wisniewski was there. He would play with a lot of balanced stance because he was a center. That's what he was used to. But I think that Isaac is coming along. You know what I'm saying? But you can bring somebody in if you needed to go in there and fit at left guard. But if you needed to bring Isaac, get bump him down the center.
Brian, you look like you need to say something.
Yeah, no. So I'm curious because so after the combine when Doug Peterson said hell yeah he wants Jason Peters back. Obviously we've learned this offseason that whatever they say they always fall back on. There was a lot of rumors swirling about Dillard, about the Eagles not being sold on him, and then people bringing up his attitude towards Philly. You played in Philly pretty much your whole career. Do you feel like it's kind of you have to have a special kind of mentality to play in Philadelphia at this point, especially right now after winning the Super Bowl? And
yes, you playing in this city isn't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's you have to have a little stuff about you to be able to hold your own in this city. Now, this is like one of the cities where nobody gives a shit about what you did in college. I mean, all of that is cool. Like, oh yeah, you won. You were such and such in college, and you were all world in college. But once you get here, all of that is gone. What you were in college doesn't matter. You need to come here and you need to hold your own, and you need to know that you got people out here that don't mind getting right in your face and letting you know how much you suck. And you
especially
have to be able to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? And especially in this era where you have social media where everybody can get right in your face and let you know exactly how they feel about you. So you got to have a little something about you to be able to play in this city, and I appreciate that because I don't want anybody just giving me love just because. I want to come in and earn that respect. And once you get it though, you're good. But it's a tough city to play for.
You speak of college, but no one gives a shit about what you did in college. I mean, we had a running back a few years ago that was drafted in 2017 in the 5th round, who was like the leading rusher all time in college football history, Donald Pumphrey, and then you see
Exactly.
who's there.
That's why I don't get caught up in all of this pre-mock draft. I really, it's cool. It makes for good conversation, but I really don't care. You know what I'm saying? Let's get the best athlete on the board, because once he gets into the NFL, everything that he did in college is gone. Now, what are you going to do here now? What are you going to do here now? Because right now, I mean, I could pull from some of the lessons that I learned during my college days, because that's where I learned how to play offensive tackle, because I was recruited and brought in as a DN. But I could pull from some of those lessons. But, I mean, once I got to the NFL, nobody cared about what I did on the college level. What are you going to do here?
And that's like we've been looking more into the relative athletic scoring, the RAS. And it's his name is Kent Lee Platt. His Twitter is Math Bomb. He's all into math and all this stuff, and he made this system where the combine numbers, he compared it to all his peers and all that stuff, and he looked at who's the best athlete among the group. And I did one of those mock drafts based on athletic scores, because I was just looking at the Eagles, like just looking at them athletically, especially on the line. And it like Kelsey scored over, and it goes from scores 0 to 10, and Kelsey was over a 9 athletically among the centers. Johnson was over a 9 athletically. Peters was over a 9, even though he was scored as, I think, a tight end, and then scored again as a tackle. Moving on. Brandon Brooks was almost a perfect score. I think he was a 9.98 athletic on the guard. So it's just it's a trend among the line, especially how much you guys have to pull on all these different schemes, and especially for a back like Miles Sanders, you gotta keep up with him to block in front of him.
I don't need to keep up with him.
He's gonna just blow
past. Why
past
do we need to keep up with him?
To block in front of him.
No, you don't need to keep up with him. All you got to do is go out there and make somebody miss. Every run play is designed to get the running back to the safety. You know what I'm saying? And like that's in the perfect, when you sit in there and you sit in the meeting room and we go in there and we drop and we get all our X's and O's and lines, every run play is designed to get that running back to the safety. After that, shit, you're on your own. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I meant, to get to the second level to take that
point. Huh?
That's what I meant, to take out the linebacker at the second level, like get through, pull around, and take it.
Yeah, and then like that, I don't need you dancing with the linebacker. If you get up there, you cut that front leg, cut it, and then let the running back do his thing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't need it. And then like all the athleticism, all that's cool. What I look at when I'm looking at an offensive lineman, how many mistakes, how many bad habits will I have to correct to get him ready to go? You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm looking at. Is he first off the ball when the ball is snapped? Because if not, that's a timing issue. That he needs to understand the rhythm of the cadence. Is it Blue 88? Blue 88 said, "Hey, is he the first one off the ball when the cadence is timing? Does he have a proper set? Does he step up field with his outside foot? How's he with his inside foot? Is he a puncher or a grabber?" That's what I'm looking at when I'm looking at offensive lineman. And if I can, the one that has the least stuff to correct, then I'm ready to go. Because look at the man that was out of Auburn. What's his name? Robinson. That was I think that's
Glenn Robinson.
Yeah, Greg Robinson. That was out of Auburn. I mean, he was athletic as I don't know what. But then when it comes to pass protection, when it's 3rd and 10, hey, you know what I'm saying? All those numbers and all of that you're talking about, these trends, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? When you got one of those nasty ass pass rushers over there in front of you, that 9.8 doesn't matter if you don't know what the hell you're doing.
That's true.
So speaking about numbers and college production, the Eagles made a big a head scratcher last year when they drafted J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, because they were solely,
he was a production guy.
Yeah, and he's gotten hell ever since because of nagging injuries and then the drop pass against Detroit. In your opinion, is it make or break for the Eagles to go wide out this offseason in the draft?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. You need to go and get one of these receivers. You have to. You've taken the entire offseason. You skipped out on a lot of Hopkins. You missed out on. You passed on a couple of the other free agents out there. So you have to go and get one of these guys out of the draft. I mean, especially just because of how stacked this draft is. You need to get Carson a weapon. You got to get a speedster out there. It's good to have Deshaun Jackson back, but you need a younger one out there to kind of the more speed you can have out there, receiver that can catch. Because speed alone isn't good. I need somebody that can put hands on the ball and come down with it as well. So, you know, a lot of times you get fast-ass receivers that can't catch. But if I can get a receiver out there that can catch and that has some speed, then there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Right now, the what?
Is there any that you have in mind, Trey?
Huh?
Is there any receivers in the draft that you have in mind that will fit perfect to the group?
No, not really. No.
Actually, I just we asked because I just talked to the LSU wide receiver coach today, just because everybody's pretty much locked in on Justin Jefferson at 21, and people were like, he's more of a slot guy. He can't win outside. He can't do this. He can't do that. But our thing has been like he's a playmaker. Right now that's what Carson needs. It doesn't right now. His slot guy right now slotted in is Greg Ward. When Greg Ward didn't come up until December. So
he was a playmaker in college. We'll see what he'll become when he gets to the league.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So I guess that goes for everybody. Everybody's talking about rugs and speed. We'll see what that speed does. I think the big thing is everybody's talking about Hamler's speed, but then we see the drops.
Yeah.
So, it's not like he'll blow past someone in a second, and then all of a sudden he's catching with his helmet. So it's Carson. He made magic happen last year. It's no doubt about it. He was throwing.
That's something that I'm very curious about. If we could just stay on that subject, because you play with Donovan, and Donovan, he didn't have anything like high quality until T.O. And we all know how that how that went. But playing with a quarterback like that doesn't have the right weapons around him could really, like, as you can tell, really affect his career. And it's got to be frustrating as well for the O-line because the quarterback has to hold the ball longer.
It don't matter to me, man. You know what I'm saying? You call the play and I go out and try to execute it. For real, I really didn't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. You call the play and we go out and execute. That's what I was coached to do. That's how I was brought up in this game, and that's how I see the game. I don't look at all of this like, I want to bring in the best weapon. I want to bring in somebody that's going to really help. But at the end of the day, your job is to go out there and do whatever it takes to keep your man off the quarterback. Plain and simple. Nobody, if you're questioning what's being called, then you got too much on your mind. You're not thinking about the right thing. You need to be thinking about the man over there in front of you to go kick his ass. That's all you need to be thinking about.
Who's the best end that you faced in your career?
Simeon Rice, hands down, was one of the best rushers that I dealt with. Because he was crafty, he was awkward. He made me change the way we played a little bit because he would and this is why I like teaching pass rush more than offensive line, because if I were to get back into coaching, I would like to be on the defensive side of the ball. Because I look at what Simeon Rice did a good job of is he forced a reaction and then he had a plan for it. You see what I'm saying? For me, when I look at pass rush, the perfect pass rush is forcing a reaction out of that offensive lineman and then now having a plan for it. And Simeon Rice was extremely awkward where he'll come with that long arm bull rush and then he'll show chest, make you punch, because now we shooting both hands out there. Before we started going 1-2, 1-2, I would go out there and just shoot both hands. He'll show chest, I shoot both hands out there, and then he'll do a move, take his chest away, and then clamp my outside arm and then bend the corner. So then now he started making this change where it's like, all right, don't throw your outside hand. Only throw your inside hand. Punch the near point, and then running by instead of getting that outside hand involved. So Simeon taught me the art of forcing a reaction and then having a plan for it.
Simeon Rice was dirty.
Yeah, no, he was nasty. He was nasty, man. He was a nasty rusher. He wasn't crazy fast, but he was a slick rusher. I mean, I've dealt with Dwight Freeney where, everything, he only had 3 rushes: speed, bull, and spin. And that's all he needed because he perfected it. I've dealt with Bruce Smith. I've dealt with Derek Thomas. I mean, whoever else. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of those cats, man. But Simeon Rice probably was one of the toughest ones I had to deal with on the regular that made me change the way we played.
On the subject of defensive ends, what do you think is the most important part of being a successful defensive end? Because we've seen, when BG was drafted back in 2010. I mean, I know he was put in a completely wrong spot. They moved him to linebacker at first, and then moved him back. We see like his sack numbers aren't more than 8-9 a year, and then we look at people are so down on Derek Barnett. Because he's been hurt here and there, but people are so quick to be like, look, he's a bust. He can't do this, can't do that. He's another production guy. He beat Reggie White's sack total in Tennessee, and then the Eagles draft him because I'm sure the connection to Reggie White, the production out there, move over, and he really hasn't done that much to warrant the being selected at 14. At the same time, people are like, well, look at Brandon Graham. He was selected at 13. Took him a little while to get going. Now, right now, we can't see the line without him. So, what do you think? Like the most important thing is as a rusher, and does Derek Barnett have those traits?
I think he has those traits. I think as a rusher, one of the things you have to learn is every move isn't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just go into a game. A problem that I see that a lot of defensive ends have is that they feel like whatever move they have is going to work against everybody. You know what I'm saying? Where you like, all right, you know what? I'm going to come up in here and I'm going to go bull, and then I'm going to just bull rush, and then my change up is going to be the one arm and just try to dip and just try to run by him. But then you still, when you're doing those type of moves, you always get in the same stance. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if I know that if you're getting in the same stance every time, then that means that we're going to make contact at the same point every time. So as an offensive lineman, I'm going to get to that point and I'm going to punch, or I'm going to change it up and grab you. So I think for some of these defensive ends, they need to really study offensive linemen and change up your rush based off of what the offensive lineman presents. If you know that you got an offensive tackle that's sitting at a 45, why are you lining up so tight on him with your inside foot back? If you have as a defensive end, if I'm going up against you right now, is my left hand in front of you back now? A little bit. All right. So anyway, if you're in this stance right here, you have to take that a step up field, and then you have to get the second step down, and then your third step is what's coming at him. If you have an offensive tackle that knows how to jump you or get out there, he's going to jump you as soon as you get your first step down, and he's shutting down your momentum before you even get going. So you have to try to change up your rush based off of what the offensive lineman presents. If he's a grabber, why are you coming in trying to clean hands? That does you no good. You clean hands against a puncher. If you got a grabber, now you come with the bull rush. You come with long arm step, one arm bull rush or whatever. But you have to change your rush based off of what the offensive line presents. And also, too, sometimes you got to change up your stance to switch up when you're going to make contact. You want to keep them guessing.
That's good points. No, we got to take a break quick for a word from our sponsors that you're very familiar with, Trey.
Yeah.
It's for those of you that don't know, Brian and I were newly sponsored last week by a company called Manscaped. Beautiful company. They make your things beautiful.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah, they
Trey,
do, man. I enjoyed working with Manscaped. That was a cool company.
It is a cool company, and my wife was a little awkward when I first told her about it.
Uh-huh.
She was like, "What the hell is this?" I was like, "Listen, it's gonna be a beautiful thing for you."
Yeah, exactly.
How many times you tell me, hey, nothing's happening until you tend the bushes.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to trim your lawn.
Now, I know the big thing right now is Tiger King out there. So if you ever think you want to make yourself look like the Tiger King stash down there, that has this and this, and your wife's like, nope, you can't do it back down here. Hey, listen, I'm gonna do it down there, and there you go. Look at this. Here's the lawnmower 3.0. Look how nice. Most buzzers, this is steel right here, but this is not. Look, this is nice. Like I was telling Brian last week that when I first started buzzing my hair and everything, I took the buzzer from up here and I went straight down. I was like, all right, I gotta do it. But the metal was so hot from up here.
Yeah.
It was a bad first. It was a bad first experience. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no.
But this has been a godsend.
Yeah, man. The lawnmower 3.0, man, with the LED light. You know what I'm saying? With extended battery.
It's funny. I didn't know about the lights that I started using. I was like, oh,
you could turn off the lights and make it nice and cozy for yourself in the bathroom or wherever you're going. Put the newspaper down that they sell to you that
the mats.
The hair is in one spot.
Yeah.
And and they also
got wife watching you while you say all this.
I was trying to get her. Part of the ad was going to be my daughter in here. She didn't want her in this. I was going to put her in for some wholesome content and talk about how she was made because of trimming.
That's right. There you go.
It's
the gift that keeps on giving.
The baby wouldn't be here if I didn't keep everything calm down there. So it's and then the thing, I think that my favorite part of this whole thing has been the deodorant. I'm a phys ed teacher. I sweat like crazy. This thing, especially now in the quarantine, sometimes I'm sure I'm not the only one. Sometimes you forget what day it is. Like, oh shit, did I shower today? And this thing, like, throw some on, like, all right, ready to go. And then you turn the lights down, but you talk to the wife and like, listen, you smell that?
That's right.
Put the baby to bed.
That's my sack you smell right there. That's my sack.
Put the baby to bed, baby.
Yeah.
And turn the lights down low and turn off the only thing is, our dog likes to sleep with us. So sometimes she's the buzzkill instead of the baby. we gotta teach her. We gotta teach her to be like, listen, you gotta get out of here. But listen, guys, you gotta use FTB. Very, very simple. FTB, like flipping the birds.
Or for the balls.
FTB, 20% off and free shipping. Who knows when we're going to be let outside again? Who knows when your barber's going to be ready to go? Right now we are stuck with our own hands. Brian got it easy. He's got a bowling ball up there. It's but the beard.
Hey, it matches the drapes now, so.
Cool.
So FTB at checkout, 20% off, free shipping. Your balls are gonna thank you. Your wife's gonna thank you too, or your partner, whoever, whatever you're into, they're gonna thank you.
That's right.
All right. So now back to some Eagles football. Trey, you played in 2004 when you guys went to the Super Bowl. After that year, the whole situation with Donovan Terrell, it's kind of the sort of a familiar situation that's happened now with the Eagles with supposedly Alshon and Carson. In your opinion, I mean, obviously the Eagles are in a situation where they can't move on from Alshon. Do they need to move on from Alshon in order for them to really like fix the locker room and actually, solidify themselves again, or is this a fixable situation?
I don't know. That's one thing that you're going to have to ask Carson on that. Is this something that's fixable? I mean, because the last thing you want is someone that's in the locker room that's going and running the media and telling all the secrets in the locker room, telling locker room business. There's certain stuff like, even now that I'm in the media, that I was in the media until they let me go last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess.
Terrible.
But, even then, you don't, even when I talk to some of the players that are currently in the locker room, we might chop it up about certain stuff, but there's certain stuff that will never be said. You know what I'm saying? Just because I know that what we're talking about isn't for everybody else's ears. But when you go in there and you start talking to someone that's really talking to you just to get that information, then that's a problem. You can't have stuff like that within your locker room. And I don't know. I know that everybody is like, oh, it was Jeffrey, it was Alshon. Who knows what it was? But right now, it just seems like all fingers are pointing to him. And if it is, then, yeah, you probably need to get that person out of the locker room because it's 2 years that has happened.
Yeah, back to back years.
The whole article that came out, in 18 about Wentz's leadership and all that, and now this crap that came out. It was like a whole snowball this year. First, you had that anonymous source, and then Scandrick being all salty going on, First Take and all that stuff, and
salty at Malcolm. Like that was
a
better feud with Malcolm.
He was salty. He was salty at Malcolm, and then all of a sudden, I like how the Eagles dropped that little video about Scandrick
when he was.
I didn't.
He was
I
praising.
didn't like that from the Eagles.
You didn't like that?
Like it.
No, you don't need to get involved in that. Like, why do you lower yourself to get involved in to something that players are handling? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like, yeah, we got your back, but that's between Malcolm and Scandrick. Let them handle that. You as an organization shouldn't stoop to that. That's just my opinion. But
Speaking of Malcolm, how do you how do you think that situation was handled like right before he was released? He wasn't released. His option wasn't picked up, and all that. People saying that he wanted $14 million a year, and then he signs for the Saints for $8 or $9 million a year.
I don't know. He wanted more money. The Eagles weren't willing to give it up, so that's the business, man. Sometimes decisions are going to be made. And that happens every year. It's going to be someone that's let go that you feel like, oh man, I wish we would have kept him. But that's the nature of this business. And Malcolm understands it. He understands the nature of this business. Everybody's renting space in that locker room, and it's going to come a point where everybody's time is going to be up like that. So it is what it is. I mean, you take it in stride, you move on, and you try to be the best player you can for the next team.
It's a little fun fact that Brian he actually spoke to Malcolm's parents in February. He works over in AT&T, and they came in, and Brian, you could talk about. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking for you.
I kind of put two and two together because Malcolm's from Piscataway. So the last name was Jenkins. So I went on my way and asked him, like, hey, is the relation there? He's like, yeah, that's my son. And then they kind of just expressed the frustration that he's had with the organization and dropped a hint that the Saints really desperately wanted him back, and that part of him wanted to go back. Whether it's personal, or whether other issues, it was the fact that for the revelation to be there was kind of like another Brian Dawkins situation where the Eagles are willing to let go of a great just for whatever case may be. But
yeah, it's the nature of this business, man.
Unfortunately, yeah, it is a business.
Yeah.
We spoke to Mike not too long ago, and he said the same exact thing. It's a business at the end of the day, and that's the harsh reality of it.
Yep, exactly.
Now the Dawkins thing was around your time, towards the end of your career in Philly, correct? I think you were 2008 last
all
year.
Of us got let go.
That was everybody was the same.
Yeah, everybody only remembers Dawk, but yeah, all of us were sent that year.
I knew you were 08 was last one. I couldn't remember if 09 was Dawkins last year or 08. But what was that like? Was coming in? Were they like, listen, we're gonna just move into it in a different direction, or how was that like back then?
Well, I think when I noticed that when I saw that Dawk was gone, I told the missus, I'm like, oh yeah, we out of here. If they let Dawk go, we're gone too. So I shot down to Florida and hung out down in Florida for a little bit just because I knew what time it was, and then I ended up getting signed by Jacksonville. So you didn't
have to move that far after.
Yeah, and then I had played out both my contracts here, but I still kept a home up here anyway. But I had played out 2 contracts here. I signed a 5-year deal my rookie year, and then a 6-year deal my second year. So it was just the nature of the business. I didn't take it personal, but once I saw that Dawk was gone, I kind of figured that, oh, you know what, they're changing things, So I knew that was when Runyon left, I left, all of us were gone that year.
Runyon's son is eligible for the draft this year.
Yeah.
It'll be a little bit of full circle if that happens.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Chicago, though. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where Juan Castillo is there. And Juan was his offensive line coaches last year at Michigan as well. So I wouldn't be surprised. If you do bring him in, that would be awesome. But I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Chicago as well.
What we really got to look for is after next year. Oh, I think B-Dog's son is at Clemson. Or is he?
Oh, okay.
Is he out this year? No, he's at Clemson now. I think he's eligible next year.
Oh, okay. I haven't watched any of them stuff.
He's also safety over there. So I know the Eagles like their sentimental stuff, especially Lori. Lori, like we were told, like it mix and match. Like Lori likes the sentimental stories and all that stuff when drafting, and like the stories. Like it really seems like Sharif was more of a pick just because he was a Philly guy. Mm-hmm. And because you look at it, he hasn't played. He didn't play at all this year. Mm-hmm. Especially when on a line where there was so much turnover. There were so many injuries. Vinny Curry didn't come along until December.
Mhm.
Jernigan wasn't himself all year. Fletch wasn't himself all year. Barnett was hurt a little bit here and there. BG was hurt. Hall was hurt. Sweat was hurt. Everybody was hurt. And then Miller doesn't really. I think he saw one snap.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, so you never know how that plays out. You never know what the situation is, who your money guys are, or what even what the depth charts looks like. Because I'm not in that locker room, so I have no idea how they have everything set up. So I don't know. I know he had some good plays during the preseason. He looked a little strong, so I was expecting to see him a little bit more. But once the season gets going, you just never know how everything plays out.
now is looking at this team before we end up and everything. Looking at this team, other than wide receiver, do you think there's a position or just something that this team needs to do to get back to what we all heard Doug after the Super Bowl is the new norm. The new norm. Right now, we get it. Like he's been there 4 years and he's been into the playoffs 3 or 4 years, one Super Bowl. Is there something that they need to do or position they need to target outside wide receiver? Because we all know wide receiver. To get back to being a contender, perennial contender every single year.
Yeah, I could see possibly a linebacker or a safety. Possibly, look at some more corner depth. But we'll see, but I could definitely see a linebacker at some point. Maybe a safety, you bring a young safety in, someone that you can groom and mold. And then also like another cornerback or two. You never know. Get as many receivers as you can, because I think they have 8 picks right now, I believe.
Yeah.
So, you get one of these premier receivers, and then you might, see a linebacker or a safety coming in. So who knows?
Quickly on the linebacker subject, because this has been a hot topic for us in weeks, because Howie just ignores it. He just completely ignores it every year. Everybody's saying that he doesn't value the position. Jim doesn't value the position. And who knows who doesn't value the position? It's just never really addressed. When you played, was it harder facing a defense with mediocre, like with mediocre linebackers, yet a stellar defensive line, which kind of looks like what the Eagles have right now, or was it harder to face an defense where the line was good, not great, but the linebackers were great?
Well, I think they work hand in hand, because you need some big guys that can get in there and take up some of the combination blocks. If they can hold up the offensive linemen and allow those linebackers to flow, then, you need it works hand in hand. But then now, most of the time they're playing nickel anyway, so you're only going to have 2 linebackers anyway, and then you bring your safety down to be the extra guy. So, of course, you want to have that Mike linebacker out there, your quarterback of the defense, because he's the one that's getting the call, making sure everybody gets on point. But you haven't had a solid middle linebacker since Trot, though. I think and then like when I look at middle linebackers, I judge everybody by Trot, man. I think the X-Man was probably one of the better linebackers that I've even seen during my time.
Yeah, well, he was great. Like I do like to bring up D'Amico. I like D'Amico when he came over from Houston. But before D'Amico, it was definitely Trot. It was. Yeah. There's been no one, and then since D'Amico, it's been a rotation of Michael Kendricks was great for a couple years, and then he was gone, and then Jordan Hicks was hurt almost all the time, but he still performed a little bit, and then he got his bag over in Arizona, and then Bradham had one good year, and then he fell off, and now we're stuck with Jerry. And then we got T.J. Edwards. Who knows what he's going to jump up from an undrafted free agent to who knows? Then we got Duke Riley, whose highlight last year was dancing on that Falcons video after they won. And then we got Alex Singleton, who's CFL All-Star, but he's relegated to special teams right now. And then we got Jatavis Brown, who the only highlights I see of him are of him missing tackles on the Chargers. So
well, you'll see. You're gonna have to see what. And then this is going to be an interesting year because, with no OTAs, no telling what's going to happen with training camp, this is going to be an interesting year to see how everybody develops, especially when you brought all these guys in as secondary. I want to see the secondary get together and spend some time together because I'm extremely excited about what they have out there in that cornerback position, and what they're doing in their secondary. But you know, I like to see, you know, who are you going to bring in at linebacker? I don't know. If you're going to say, all right, you know what, we're going to lean behind this stacked defensive front that we have, and then you just linebackers, hey, y'all come out there and just don't blow it. Then there you go. Because really, at the end of the day, you need everybody to kind of fit together. You need everybody. Once you start seeing guys try to over pursue or try to make more plays or try to do a little bit more, defense needs to be sound. If that linebacker has that 3 gap, then if the linebacker has a 3 gap, then the defensive lineman needs to be holding down the 2 gap, or vice versa. So you just need everybody to fit in their gaps, and then that's how you stop the run, you know. And then after that, you know, it's just about, can you cover a running back or a tight end?
Now, this last topic. I'll let you go. We've been keeping you too long here. It's been a hot topic. Eagles Twitter, Eagles everything, media for the Jets, Browns, whatever. Do you think the Eagles are wise to pursue, if they are, we don't know if they are, it's just been rumors, a trade for Yannick? Would that really propel this line to the next level to really compensate for what they lack in linebackers?
But you're going to have to give up a first-round pick, and if you're giving up a first-round pick for him, you know, you need one of these receivers more than you need a DN.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I mean, you could teach guys how to rush. You know, I think you get Barnett out there and you show him how to rush, how to attack, then you can have something. I think Barnett is slick. That's where you miss having somewhere like Chris Long out there at rusher. You know, Chris Long was an extremely crafty rusher, especially in his years there. Had a nice spin move, had a nice you know, he understood how to layer his rushes. And you can see, like, Barnett kind of learned from that. Even when you look at some of the sacks that Chris Long got, where he would look over, because a lot of times he would pair it up with Barnett, and he would give Barnett a hand signal where Barnett knew, okay, I'm going to come with bull rush, and then Chris Long would come and run the long hump and get the quarterback from the back. So he would layer his rushes based off of what the offensive lineman was doing, and that's where you have a vet like that that's teaching you how to rush, and then once he's gone, then who do you have to kind of help you when it comes to learning how to rush?
Very, very interesting point.
So we need Chris Long, if you're listening, come back.
Yeah, but you know, you just need coaches that, when it comes to coaching, you need guys that's going to be able to teach guys that stuff, how to run a game, when to run a game, you know, but that's what you pay all the coaches the big bucks for. So we'll see what they do.
And we'll see how linebackers coach Matt Burke does as a new defensive line coach. I know everybody's a little questionable about that, but you know, everybody thinks it's more of a gym move than it is a line move. But we'll see. You know, who knows when this season will start anyway. So it's
exactly.
You know, we had a doctor today go up on, I forget where it was. I saw it off a Philly site.
18-month thing.
He said that no sports until fall to 2021. It's, you know, it's Kelsey's gonna be gone. You know, it's gonna be a whole new line by then. But but most of our listeners are pretty much from the Philly area, South Jersey area. I don't know if you want to talk about what you do down there in Cherry Hill before we head out.
Oh yeah, man. We paint, man. I'm at Pino's Palette right over there in the man. What's the name of those shopping plazas? I'm across the street from Zen Burger. Man, I can't think of the racetrack, man. The old racetrack. You know where it is. My mind slips sometimes. But we're over there in Cherry Hill, Pino's Palette. We paint all the time. So we do. Right now, since we're shut down, we're delivering paint kits. So if you can go online, you can pick out. You can go to PP Cherry Hill, Pino's Palette, cherryhill.com, and you can pick out like painting kits or whatever. Or we do virtual classes, so you can pick out whatever painting kit it is. We box it up, we bag it up, and then I deliver most of the packages. I'm actually drinking a little wine now because I'm about to, once I get off from you guys, I might throw a canvas on my easel and get to it and have a little fun, you know. But yeah, man, we paint, man. It's fun, it's relaxing, it's something that we enjoy doing. My wife and I have been doing it now for going on 3 years now, so it's fun, and you know, people should definitely come check us out once all this clears up, or just order something online and I'll drop it off at your doorstep. We don't need to, sit around, shake hands and all that. I just drop it off at your door, and then I get on out of there. You have everything that you need to get yourself through a painting, and then we just take it from there.
Speaking of wine, I want to see if you had it.
And that's the Zen Burger by the Pro Shop in Cherry Hill?
Yeah, right there. Yeah, right by the Pro Shop in Cherry Hill. What's the name of that shopping plaza?
I don't know.
The Garden State Plaza?
I forgot what it's called, but we stood out there for
Garden State
6 months.
Plaza, where Wegmans is and all of that, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's right there off of 70 in Cherry Hill. And man, we paint. It's fun. It's on the second floor. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. I enjoy painting now.
It's a good
I
therapy.
don't know if you ever had this, but the Robert Mondavi Bourbon Barrel Aged. This is Chardonnay. I haven't had this yet, but I've had their cab. Bourbon Barrel Aged cab.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
delicious.
man.
Oh, yeah.
It helps with the creative juices. So, I like to have a little wine, and then I put my canvas up, get my paints pumped, and then get through a painting. It's fun.
That's right. Yeah, the last time I did a paint sip was Wentz's ACL tear.
When what?
When Wentz tore his ACL.
Oh, okay.
I haven't been back since.
Gotcha.
It was bad memory for me. I was painting, and all of a sudden I was watching the game on the side. I had it up on the little easel on the side like this, and I'm painting and I'm looking, and then I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And I stopped. I was like,
I could not believe when I got that alert. I was looking at my phone. I'm driving home, and I'm like, nah, this can't be real. Like,
and the damn Eagles the other day posted a highlight, like relive when we faced the Rams in 2017. Like, why the hell would we want to do that?
Yeah.
Well, listen, Trey, we appreciate you coming on with us. We know you're busy and all that. We're not a very big, podcast. We're working on our way up there.
All right, cool.
We appreciate you. Our site, Philly Sports Network. We just hit 10 million views as a site a couple weeks ago. We've been up and running for 5 years by a little British kid in England, Liam Jenkins. He started this when he was 19.
Okay.
Right now he just turned 25. And the Eagles actually interviewed him. A reporter from the Eagles interviewed him when they went over to London to face the Jaguars a couple years ago. So he's featured on their site. But it's we're doing our part to dismantle, to dethrone all the those clickbait stations over there in Philly.
All right, cool, man.
But having you on definitely helps us to get to that point. So we appreciate you, taking the time out to talk to two other bald-headed guys like us and talk about Manscaped and all that stuff. And we really, appreciate your insight on the offensive line and the defensive line and all that stuff and your playing days. So we appreciate you, and we hope you have a nice little painting there.
All right, cool. Appreciate it,
and
bro.
you and
Y'all
your
have a
family
good one,
stay
man.
safe and healthy.
Thank you for
All
coming.
right, man. Y'all take care. Have a good one.
Thank you. You
man.
too.
All right, now.
All right, guys. Well, that was Trey Thomas, who joined us from his home. Don't forget to check out.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
The people need to realize.
Uh-oh.
We got Trey Thomas on. Like, former 11-year pro of the Eagles.
Three-time Pro Bowler.
Three-time Pro Bowler, Trey Thomas, took time out of his day to talk to us. His evening, not day, his evening. He could have been sipping wine and painting during that whole hour, but he took the time to talk to us. I'm telling you, we're coming. We are coming.
Next week we have two.
Next week. Yeah, next week we're getting ready for the draft. We're getting it's two. Oh, this is coming out tomorrow, Wednesday. So Thursday, a week from Thursday, a week from April 16th. Tomorrow's payday. I can't wait. A week from April 16th is the draft. So a week from today, we're recording on the 14th. A week from today, April 21st, we will be joined by Chris Malley of 4th and John. Mm-hmm. You have seen him all over Twitter if you follow him. It's Malley's _Chris_24, I believe, something like that. But he breaks down a ton of draft stuff, breaks down a lot of stuff, breaks some news every now and then. He's just another internet scout. You don't give a
Internet
shit about
scout.
give a shit about that. But we added very, very quickly. You heard us talk about the RAS scoring, relative athletic scoring, made by Kent Lee Platt. He's at MathBomb, BOMB, on Twitter, and he does incredible stuff. Math stuff. I used to be like a math whiz. I wanted to do some stuff in math, and I just went to be a stupid gym teacher, and
That's not stupid. I mean, you're doing something good for the kids.
Yeah, we'll see. It depends who you ask. But it's still, math is very, very interesting to me, and what he does is crazy good. And he just joined Pro Football Nation as a writer. He was doing things on his own. He was part of the Pride of Detroit. He's a Lions fan, but he joined big site Pro Football Nation. He'll be joining us too to talk about the RAS, how he composes all that stuff. Why did he start doing it and all that stuff, and some top prospects, because we'll be 2 days away from the draft, so it'll be a good podcast to talk about some prospects. We know Justin Jefferson is a very popular target, and he's scored 9.6 or something like that. I know Mims was higher than him, but Jefferson didn't run one drill that Mims did. So if Jefferson ran that drill, he probably would have scored higher than Mims. So it's going to be a crazy good podcast next week. We hope you tune in, and we hope you deodorize your balls.
Do not forget, guys, code FTB, get 20% off. And like Chris said, next week, everything and anything about the prospects of the draft, we will be talking with Chris, and
Chris, Brian, and Kent.
Chris, Brian, and Kent.
And just a heads up, draft night, first night of draft. We said that we were going to have a party at the bar and all that stuff. But you know the rules now.
Yes.
We can't do that now. But we're going to have a huge viewing party, draft night. Look out for that. Maybe some giveaways. Maybe some
a lot of cool things going on.
A lot of cool things. A lot of cool things.
No sport.
But it's you're gonna have to wait. But listen, I'm good.
You're good? You satisfied?
I'm satisfied.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us today. And please make sure you tune in next week, because I promise you it's going to be as great as we are making it sound. Make sure you tune into PSN's YouTube as well on the first night of the draft, because we will be covering, me, Chris, and I believe Liam will be on it as well.
The British King, Liam Jenkins, will be here.
And I don't think we've been with Liam at all.
In our new season, we have not had him on, so he will be making his season 2 debut on PSN.
Absolutely.
On PSN, FTB.
Well, please stay safe throughout all this. I know a lot of people are going through tough times with the family, so please stay safe.
Oh, also, sorry. Just a reminder, we're doing a huge apparel sale on Teespring, Philly Sports Network, or Teespring. We have a quarantine line of clothing. Right now, it's Wash Your Damn Hands on the logos of different sports. All proceeds, every single dollar that is spent on every single shirt, sweatshirt, whatever, will go towards Philabundance. If you don't know what Philabundance is, it's a nonprofit charity in Philadelphia, helping families in need, getting them food, especially in this time. The school's out. And school's out for the rest of the year in Pennsylvania. Yeah. So some of these families, especially in Philadelphia, need food in this time. A lot of kids go to school so they can be fed. So Philabundance is doing their part to help families get that food. We are doing our part to take the Philly pledge and help Philabundance out. So watch out for that apparel sale. Every single dollar will go towards them, and you'll be helping families in need in Philadelphia.
Well, on that note, tune in next week. I'm Brian Cameron. He's Chris Infante. And this is Flippin' the Birds.
Birds.
Good.